blonde curls and blue eyes. Cleo, short for Cleopatra, was, in Ari's highly experienced opinion, the name for a tall, dark beauty, not an undersized one with the curves of a pocket Venus and the dress sense of an 80s swagged and ruffled floral curtain. It was fair to say that Ari had no time at all for Cleo the temp, but then she had blundered badly on her first day by letting Ari's stalker-type ex, Galina Ivanova, walk into his office unchallenged. Of course, she had apologized. The moo, had she apologized. While Ari never used 2 words if one would suffice, Cleo was a hopeless chatterbox and capable of utilizing 50 words to do the work of 2. She had apologized to him for 5 solid minutes, staring pleadingly at him with those huge blue eyes of hers that made her look more like a cherub than a grown woman. Having been made aware by human resources that he could not simply sack her out of hand, he had grudgingly accepted the apology, but her presence in his vicinity offended him. "Have a nice afternoon, Mr. Stefanos," Cleo called cheerfully, not having the wit to pull a low profile after being caught in the act of distracting the security guard from his job. Ari struggled not to respond with something derisive and told himself off for letting so minor an incident darken his mood. But Ari liked absolutely everything in his life shipshape and tidy. He had placed things in neat little groups since he was a child. Back then, he had found security in making and restoring order. The testing times of his childhood were unforgotten, although he chose not to dwell on them. His wardrobe was colour-coded, his bookshelves alphabetically arranged, his desk immaculate. In his world, there was no clutter, and everything and everybody had a place. When anything was out of place, it set Ari's teeth on edge, which was exactly why the receptionist irritated him, he reasoned in exasperation. Cleo didn't fit Stefanos Enterprises. She lacked dress sense and sophistication. She was too visible, too chatty, and too friendly. She smiled too much. Spend 5 minutes in a taxi rank with Cleo, and she would divulge her entire life story without the smallest encouragement. That kind of verbal license gave Ari the chills. Thrusting her from mind, he reminded himself that he had a Norfolk-bound helicopter waiting for him. Cleo clambered into the minibus with her overnight bag. A lot of the staff were travelling to the retreat by car, but she hadn't made any close friends at Stefanos Enterprises, and she hadn't been offered a lift. People rarely made much effort to get to know temporary employees, and she was accustomed to being somewhat invisible at work when others were socializing. Even so, she had been thrilled to be included in the retreat, which was probably because she would be working at Stefanos Enterprises for another 8 months. She suppressed a grimace, thinking of the incident on her first day that she suspected had ruined any hope she had of ever stepping into a permanent position at Stefanos Enterprises. An enviably confident, sleek, dark beauty, dressed to the nines in designer fashion, had approached reception to announce that she was lunching with Mr. Stefanos and would go straight through to his office. Cleo hadn't even thought of questioning the woman further. She had simply assumed that the woman was a regular visitor, possibly even a family member. She hadn't been shown the banned list of visitors before she began her shift. She hadn't been told that the boss's lovers never had access to him during working hours, either by phone or by personal appearance, and nobody had been more shaken than her when she saw the furious woman escorted off the premises by 2 security guards, and one of his personal assistants came running to ask what on earth had she been thinking when she had allowed that mad woman into Mr. Stefanos's office. An ex, a stalker-type ex, apparently, who refused to take no for an answer and kept on showing up in the hope that he would change his mind. Cleo felt that she should have been warned the minute she took